Congratulations, your child is doing well in school. They're bright. You're not necessarily worried about what they're up to in school because they seem to have a great group of friends and they get along with their teachers. And usually, every morning, they are they don't make a whole fuss about not wanting to go to school. They're generally eager to learn. So you're not really worried, at least not in the urgent, dramatic sense, but maybe you feel something is off because they're logging hours, but they're not asking questions in classrooms. They seem to be absorbing information because when you ask them at the dinner table, they seem to really regurgitate what they've learned in school, but they don't seem to be wrestling with ideas. And they seem to have a very high screen time. They're spending a long time in front of the screens, but you don't know if they're actually learning anything. So if you felt that quiet doubt, the kind that says, well, this seems like school, but something has changed, well, you're not alone because it's not just your child who's caught in this shift, it's the entire education system. Because we think of education as this timeless activity, never ends. We never stop learning. But the classroom we know of, classroom, you realize it was once shaped by scarcity model. And let me explain. This is going to involve some history lessons. So, the very first model of education was oral based. So, it was one person or a group of people transmitting information via speech. And the students would memorize that information and pass it down to another generation. And then we moved on to written form of education. Either you would write down what the person has said and transmitting that note to the future generation, which became books. Now, this is where the scarcity model kicks in because thousands of years ago, before the printing press technology, there was only one copy of that book. So students were literally writing down notes, the content from this one single book. This is my attempt at drawing a book. So one voice reading the content of the book and everyone else taking notes. So this is where the word lecture comes from. It comes from the Latin word lectio. This literally means reading. So students used to copy books by ear. And even when books got cheaper thanks to the printing press, most famous one being the Gutenberg press, the format didn't change. So from books for another hundreds of years, and then came videotapes. I remember learning English through one of the videotapes. It was like a family in the American culture going through their daily lives, and in between episodes they would have educational section where they taught basic grammar. There was also various educational DVDs, but those didn't radically revolutionize education like computers did. Computers changed the game. And now we're in a truly different era where educational technology is not just digitizing lectures. The technology is also analyzing, adapting, and is doing the teaching itself. Like AI tutors adjust to your child's pace. Teachers get real-time data on their progress. Everything is faster. Everything is smarter and cheaper. Definitely a lot of things are for free. But here's the paradox. While the tools have changed, our expectations have not changed. So what are our expectations? We're still measuring success in terms of time spent, grades earned, content covered. And meanwhile, something more human, something more vital is at risk of being left behind. So, what are those things? So, in a world where your child can access the best lectures, smartest grading systems, the most advanced learning platforms for almost free, the differentiator is no longer access, it's agency. Agency is what's needed in today's learning. In a world of ubiquitous access to education, in a world of abundance, agency is more critical than ever. What do I mean by agency? What drives your students? And can they resist distraction? Do they know why they're learning what they're learning? So, purpose. These are not just soft skills. These are survival skills for an age. Survival. Let me see. I need to spell this right. Give me 1 second. These are survival skills for an age where education is abundant, but agency is not. So I know you're not watching this video because your child is failing in class. You're watching this because you sense that getting ahead might mean something different now. It's not necessarily something that it doesn't mean anything faster, flashier, but something deeper, something more intentional. So the good news is the tools are already here. The question is, how will we help our children use them, not just to learn, but also to instill curiosity, passion, and willpower.